Good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
Arpita. Right.
Sir,
Yes. I could able to recognize your voice. Okay. We'll start today's class. It's exactly 10 o'clock. Mm,
participants are very less, 10, 12.
Okay. Okay. 13. Oh, bad number. We'll start. Anyhow, once it reaches at least 20, 25, we'll start.
Okay.
Okay, we'll start today's class, right? So today, as per the agenda, we have to discuss about data flooding and followed by seminar. To start with, what is exactly data flooding? So we are living in the age of data analytics, data science, data technologies. So what happens? It is not easy to measure the volume of data. So data around us is very much. So we are in the flood of data. You can see servers are completely full of data, and the total volume of data stored in the entire world you cannot measure. So they are electronically stored, and of course you cannot measure. But an international data corporation, IDC, has estimated the size of the data in the total universe is 1.48 zettabytes in 2016, and they have forecasted, so by 2020, right now, by end of this year, this data will reach almost 5 zettabytes. So huge data that is being generated, but we don't know what to do with this data. But remember, this data has lot of insight, useful information, so that we have to extract it. The person who extracts, he's a data scientist, and the data scientist job are most demanding in the IT sector. So further, zettabyte is equivalently 1000 exabytes, or we call it as 1 million petabytes. Of course, 1 billion terabytes. So we have seen up to terabytes, and you see 1 billion. So 1 billion, so almost 10 lakh, terabytes is equal to 1 petabyte, and such 10 lakh, we go to 1 million, 1 million, petabytes is equal to zettabyte. And that is roughly the same order of magnitude uh, as one drive for every person in this world. So you can see terabyte is only one hard disk. So if everybody holds 1 million people holds 1 billion people holds everybody hard disk data, complete 1 terabyte data. So you just imagine the size, big size. So that is what you call it as data flooding. Data is collected, flooded. Okay. So today's rapid growth of big data is called data flooding, and it represents immense opportunity for forward-thinking makers. So people who think about future, who thinks about prediction, who believes that these data can do a really great job for predicting. So definitely this is, that job is not so easy. But to fully leverage the potential that exists within this massive streams of structured, unstructured, semi-structured data, organizations must quickly optimize and uh, you know add delivery. So they had to act to how exactly they can optimize and evaluate the campaign results, improve their site selection, and also retarget their ads, advertisements, so that they can attract, they can do business efficiently. So of course, uh, the situations are not same. So people are already started. Japan has already started analyzing. So in spite of this corona effect, they have started already working with this data flooding. So that is one very important thing that we should understand. And further, when we move, so some of the sources of data flooding are, so you can just think in world's largest stock market is in New York. And New York stock market as of now generates 1 terabyte of new data per day. So you can expect 1 terabyte of data, new trade data every day. So that is New York stock market. And of course today's Facebook. Of course, Facebook includes your uh, WhatsApp also. WhatsApp is owned by Facebook. Facebook, holders, Facebook devices host about 10 billion photos, taking up 1 petabytes. So almost 1,000 terabytes of storage. So every day, this is, I'm talking about every day. I'll give you latest statistics. Okay. In 1 minute, what all things happen. Okay. So internet archives stores around 2 petabytes. So in internet, people are uploading a lot of data, storing so data, 2 petabytes of data, and is growing at a rate of 20 terabytes per month. So I don't know where you keep all this data. And there is a company policy that no data should be lost. So they have to protect, preserve all these data. So where virtually where all these data are stored. There is a website called Ancestry, which is very much used in Switzerland. So they just want to, keep track of all the citizens of the country. So who is his father, who is his mother, who is his son, who is his daughter. So all those are tree structure. Ancestry is nothing but tree structure, starting from past 100 years, or the people whom they know till now. So all those datas, including their photos, their medical history, their date of birth, their job, their revenue, their properties, their death, and later whom they married, where they lived, what job they did. Every detail of each and every person is stored in ancestry.com. So you can check it out. Ancestry is a Switzerland, uh, you know, it stores around 2.5 petadata of data, so that is very huge. The Large Hadron Collider uh, near Geneva and Switzerland will produce about 15 petadata per year. So This is actually Hardened Collider is actually completely automated. What do you call it? Atomic center. So atomic center near Geneva. Completely, it is uh, you know generating data through sensors, and it will generate 15 petabytes of data per year. So that's a very huge data that one can get it. And all these data, every year the data has to store. They should not lose data, and every year it is growing exponentially. It's a big challenge. It's a big challenge for data scientists, data managers. So you should not lose the past data, plus you should store the existing data, upcoming data, which is not a joke. And the amount of data that are generated is very huge, which you call it as data flood. And this data flood, and I can say data flood is ever growing. It's not the story of flood only during rain season. You get flood in India or flood in some part of the world. This data flood is every day you are pumping out a lot of data. I think WhatsApp and Facebook itself, it is sufficient. You pump a lot of data, you generate a lot of data, a lot of messages, lot of data that have been generated every year, every minute, every hour. You will be generating a lot of money. And these data, effect of big data on smaller organizations and individuals. How exactly big data affects the smaller organizations as well as individuals. Digital photos, individual interactions, phone calls, emails, etc. captured are stored for later access. So if you look at, I think uh, each and every person will generate a huge amount of data, phone calls, emails, etc., photos, and a lot of videos are taken, and the amount of data generated by machines will eventually greater than the generated by people. So that's very important. Satellites or the missions that are generating in various industries, so, and various data centers, various other mm, test centers. So huge amount of data that are generated. And especially it is like mission logs, RFID readers, and sensor networks, vehicles, satellite transactions, communication transactions. So all these things, and not only that, retail transactions that are happening. So you just imagine, lot of data that have been generated. The volume of data being made publicly available increases every year, and data can be shared among everyone to download and analyze. I don't know how much amount of data that is being generated every day, and it is being used. Public data sets on Amazon Web Services and InfoChips and the info.org. These are all some of the websites that provides information to the public. Anybody can download any data. Okay, so Ancestry.net is another project where all ancestors data you can record. Even you can create your own ancestors data along with their photos and other things. So which works pretty well. So that's one very good component. And uh, watches the ancestry group on Flickr for new photos. Flickr is another very popular, just like Google Photos, so which will store a lot of images. personal images and other things. Photos of night sky, so analyzes each image and identifies the sky. So that's the thing. So not only this, so a lot of scientists, they use astronomy, lot of satellite photos. I think if I tell the data that are being generated by individual organizations, individual persons itself, it is very huge. Leave out, big organization. Take the example of individual person. So if I ask, each one of you, you have 1.5 GB of data in your mobile phone, 1 GB of data in your mobile phone. I don't know how much of data that you are going to use. So per day, I think almost 90% average, 90% of data you will be using it through internet. So you will be either generating or you will be consuming. So that is the rate at which you are big data you are affecting. So 1 GB of data per day, you just imagine 10 days, 15 days, or 1 year. So how long you are using this phone? Since how long? So imagine, what about that data? All those data, whatever you have done so far, everything is recorded, it is stored. So that is a concept that you should understand. And the effects of big data in recent years, 6 million developers are currently working on big data worldwide. 6 million. So imagine how big the fraternity, worker fraternity, the developer fraternity is. So they are working and spending on big data technology that will reach about 57 million billion of dollars they'll spend just for analyzing this data. And America has been the top in analyzing the data. They know the analytics of each and every country's people. They know very well. Next comes Japan. Japan, they are high analytics. So they use lot high analytics. And China, India. So a lot of other countries are there. So they will analyze. So the worldwide business intelligence and big data analytics was worth of $18 billion in 2007. And by 2020, the 50% of the billion, 50% it might have grown. So almost 50% of the BI software queries on search engines or natural language processing and voice recognition by 2020. And so you can just think of so by 2020, 1.7 MB of data will be created for every person on this earth. So just imagine, every person on this earth will be generating. I think this is the wrong prediction that we are come across. So we will get beyond this 1.7 MB. Most of the people will generate every day beyond this. So the good news is that big data is here, and the bad news is that we are struggling to store and analyze this data. So that is a very, very, very important thing that you should understand. Big data is generating, of course, more data you have, you will do better analysis. But the problem is, how do you store this big data? That's the biggest problem. And later, second option is, how do you analyze this big data? Analyzing this big data is another great challenge. So that we are, totally focusing on it. So that's the total component. That's the total component that we are certainly we should understand. So big data is good, but storing and analyzing is a big struggle. So just observe this diagram, and probably you will understand. What is this exact technology. In 60 seconds, you just calculate 60 seconds. you can see there are 96,94,000, almost 7 lakh searches in the internet happens either through Google or through any other sources. So 1.68 million emails are sent and received, and 60 plus new blogs are created, 1,500 blog posts, and 70 plus domains are registered. So new videos, 600 new videos in 1 second, 1 minute it happens, and it is worth of over 25 hours of total, duration of video, and a lot of questions were asked, answered, and you see a lot of apps were downloaded, and lots of posts on virtual, Tumblr is done, and a lot of people referring to documents, script D. Lot of people are using. Lot of people listening to music. Lot of people are seeing the ads. Lot of data it is generated through your Skype calls. Lot of people are using Twitters. Lot of people. So you can see all these. See, I think if you go around one circle, you see all the applications of internet that are being running successfully, and this is generating huge amount of data just in 60 seconds. This is not the source that I have created. I have taken from goglobe.com, from the website. I have just picked this information, and you see lot of data that are being generated. This is a good example of a data flood. Data is flooding continuously, and it has been monitored. It has to be stored. It has to be analyzed for your betterment. So that is a overall takeaway with the slide, with this slide, and you can see a lot of big data, lot of data that have been generated, and that's the concept. And today I think Government of India National Program for Technical Education and Learning, NPTEL, is running a technical talk seminar, technical talk, and the topic of technical talk is how to be a good software developer. It is today, 15th April 2020, 6 o'clock. So you can certainly log on to nptel.ac.in, and you will come to know which technology, if you use, you will become a better, good software developer. And now, what are the qualities of a software developer? All these things are delivered in his technical talk. It's a free of cost. I'll send the link in the group also. So hope all of you can take the advantage of this technical talk. And it is Tejas. He's a software developer and architect. He's a senior architect. He'll be talking about this. It is also available in YouTube Live. So certainly this link, the details I'll be sending to you through WhatsApp. So kindly observe and see. Tomorrow you may become a software developer. So definitely the inputs, his talks will be most useful. That's all for today's talk, today's class. And in the next class, we will be discussing what are the real challenges that we got today. Due to data flooding, we get a lot of data generated. And how do you handle this data? How do you storage this data? How do you analyze this data? So how do you use this data? That is what we just consider. So that's all for the day. So today's class recording will be available on this website, and you can also refer study material in this website. So now it is over to Archana. Archana, are you there? Archana, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's over to you. I'll stop sharing my screen. You can take, the screen. Okay, screen. You can click here, on the screen share, and you can start, presentation. Your presentation. Thank you. Achana, continue. Yeah, you can click on share screen. Good.
Sir, is it visible?
Yeah, we are able to see. Excellent. Once you start talking, so I'll. Okay, there is a time going on. It's only 9 minutes left to your, you know. Okay, please share the screen. Share the entire screen. Yeah, share the entire screen. Open the PPT, share the entire screen, and start talking. Still, it is taking time, Archana. I think Archana has stopped sharing her screen. Archana, are you there? I think some technical issue. Still, I think she is staying in some remote location. Maybe the internet connectivity is the problem. No problem. Uh, we'll address this issue in the next class. So that's all for today's session. So next class, we'll discuss about what are the problems we have discussed today, the solution to those problems, and how big data technology or Hadoop technology will certainly solve this problem. So that's all for the day. We'll end the meeting.